number 2, the second letter in intuition is N. Rika, I saw you, you're like N. Yes. All right. So this is all about nourishing nutrition. And I always say it's quite cool because if you break down the N for nutrition, it actually is, it stands for nutrients and intuition. And that's exactly what it is. Okay, so it's all about incorporating nourishing and nutritious and healthy foods into your lifestyle, and then to use food as medicine, because obviously, as I say, closest to nature is always best. So when in doubt, closest to nature. For example, if you have a food in front of you and it's not how it's found in nature, then you know it's processed or something is added. Not that I'm saying don't eat it. I'm just saying be aware that it's not closest to nature. And of course, make sure that you do include nutritious foods and eating the rainbow. Okay, because rainbow eating will make sure that you're getting different colors, and all the different colors of fruits and veggies have different phytonutrients, which means plant nutrients, as well as vitamins, minerals, and so forth. So eating the rainbow will literally, and it's actually interesting because the rainbow obviously is also the colors of the chakras, but it's also an holistic approach to make sure that you are getting in enough, not just nutrients in the sense of carbohydrates, proteins, water, and fats, but also your micronutrients, which is your vitamins and minerals. Okay, and then a quote from Hippocrates. So he said, "Let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food." Okay, so this is an important aspect as well, because yes, you do get a lot of herbs and things that you can use to actually help you on your health journey with specific health challenges and things. So, I mean, we live in the modern world where everybody just wants to get a quick fix, whether that's with weight loss, with food, with nutrition, with any health goal, or even your chronic lifestyle diseases, where many of them can be treated with your lifestyle, right? So, not always giving into chemicals or grabbing that pain pill when you have a headache. By the way, mostly if you have headaches, it is dehydration, firstly. I'm not saying always, and of course migraines are a different story, but instead of going for that pill, try to drink some water or do meditation and breathing and sit with it and see what the lesson is. Do that first before, you just pop a pill, basically. Okay, so also some healthy foods and things, I'm going to touch on that because that I can talk about for hours. So if we look at just the main food groups, the 4. So water. How much water do you have? Let me know in the chat box. Per day, how much water do you drink? Let's see. One liter minimum. Okay. Now in winter, okay, 500 ml, which is very bad. Should be 2. Okay, cool. So yes, it is difficult or challenging in the winter months, of course. So your general guidelines for water is actually 250 ml, or like 1 glass or 1 cup, per 10 kilograms of body weight. Okay, just to give you an idea. If you do struggle to get in water, especially during the winter months, then you can also do herbal teas. So any herbal tea is considered as water. But for example, caffeine like coffee or your normal teas are not considered water, because caffeine actually uses water to metabolize. So if you're drinking coffee, it doesn't count as water, but rather then swap a few with some herbal teas in between. Or you can drink like lukewarm water with some lemon. So get creative, but yes, water is really important because dehydration causes a lot of issues. For example, the headaches. But also our cells can't function optimally if we don't give it enough water as well. So that could be one of your top tips that you want to focus on. Okay, so that was quickly on water. Then if we look at proteins, it's important to look at lean proteins, so not ones with a lot of saturated fats. So if you are opting for your meats and chicken and things like that, it is better to not include, fat specifically in it. And of course, trying some plant-based proteins can also help. Okay, and then if you look at carbohydrates, if you choose to include it, so for example, a lot of my clients want to lose weight. That's one of my main focuses as well. And for them, I don't really include a lot of carbohydrates, especially not in the beginning, because we tend to overdo it. But if you do include it, make sure it's complex carbohydrates found in nature. Again, closest to nature is best. So this would, for example, be not your breads and pastas, but in moderation, that's fine. But then it will also be more your whole grain or brown varieties when it comes to that. But some nature carbs would include like quinoa, which is actually great because it's high in protein as well. Your rices and grains, as well as potato, sweet potato, those type of things. And then if you're going to go deeper into it, the GI, so the glycemic index of a carb, also changes with how you cook it. For example, if you cook a potato and you let it cool down afterwards, it becomes a lower GI, which makes it more healthy. So again, there's a lot of detail you can go into, but just so you know, when in doubt, closest to nature is best. Okay, and then of course your healthy fats. So yes, I mentioned not getting in a lot of animal fats and things, but then to focus on your plant-based healthy fats, like your olive oil, avocados, olives, those type of, and seeds and nuts, right? Okay, and then again, the biggest one here, if anything you remember from the nutrition section for tip 2 is rainbow eating, then that's great. So try to bring in more colors. So how do we make it practical? I recommend in the beginning for the next day, like tonight, for example, with your next meal or tomorrow, count how many colors you have. And then just try to add a color. You don't have to add a color per day and then end up with like 100 colors. But try to take it week by week. So the first counting of the colors, I would recommend just to become aware for a couple of days and then start adding and see how you feel afterwards as well. And then it also becomes fun because you're trying different types of food for different colors. So this can also be a fun way to get in healthy foods.